Let's just get into this thing here, too, because we have other news stories, but the big topic. I saw Joker yesterday. You saw
I
Joker yesterday.
finally saw my most anticipated movie.
I love this movie. I loved this movie, and I went through different emotions watching it for sure, and I wasn't sure if there were times I'm watching going, I don't know if I like this choice. And then when I found out what the choice was, I was like, I love that choice because it fooled me about 3 times. And I had a criticism that
Which is rare in a comic book movie.
It's true. Yeah. And there was a big criticism I had of the movie, and I'm like, this is the one thing I just don't buy. And then they go, oh, yeah? Well, how about this? And I'm like, well, fuck me. Because
and then they fucked you.
Yes, they did. They switched it up. But the one thing I would say about like the criticism, right? Is it a disturbing movie? 100%. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a disturbing movie. This is a man with mental illness. And guess what, everybody? The Joker suffered from mental illness. He's a fucking lunatic. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
Wait.
We've known that since day one.
It's actually like the comic?
Dude, he's a
Yes!
He's a little
weird. Isn't that weird?
But people are like, oh, you empathize with him. No. Well, you
empathize at the beginning.
You empathize. You feel bad, and you understand why he starts to go down the path he does. But when he goes down the path, you go, dude, you just went to fucking lunatic.
You became a monster.
You're right.
Yeah.
And but you're watching this kind of descent into madness. This agent of chaos become the agent of chaos, and it's like people are like, oh, I don't know, you're glorifying this. The movie was announced as Joker. It's a movie about a villain. Everyone's like, oh, why can't they do a movie about a villain? Well, you got it.
Yeah.
You got the movie about the villain. This is a movie about a villain.
Dark farts.
Yeah, and he's a fucked up, mentally challenged, wacky fucking dude who went through some shit.
They were also thinking about calling it Bagel Guy.
Bagel Guy. That's the sequel. That's the sequel. He's actually going to box the Joker and then pull out of the fight.
He's the Penguin. We get a short little angry guy.
Yeah. That'd be really good.
He's actually one of the Batman villains we don't know.
Yeah.
Like Condiment King.
Yeah.
Bagel Guy. Yeah.
He's right in the same wheelhouse with Condiment King.
Yeah.
He has Cream Cheese Boy.
And Bagel Boy.
Bagel Guy.
I think that Todd Phillips also needs to be commended tremendously. And I know that we're going to rave about the score because the score was out of control. But Todd Phillips he went from the comedy director, and then it was War Dogs that you went, wait a minute. This guy's got chops. This is the movie that you go elite filmmaker because this is a great looking film. Love this movie. How do you feel about it?
So first of all, I grew up with this character being fascinated by the Joker. It doesn't mean I grew up thinking he was a good dude.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I liked him as a person. I just think that I was very surprised with this movie because I didn't expect. At first, I thought it was going to be kind of just like a weird standalone movie of a character that's a bad person that becomes a bad person. I didn't know why we needed to call it Joker. Then I saw it, and I'm like, I'm so surprised at how well they understand the character.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised at also the fact that it's interesting to hear the discourse going around, which I got so sick of. So I was just like, I just want to get it over with and watch this movie. But I understand why people are uncomfortable. I understand why it's a horrifying thing to watch because it's a comic book movie, but it's not fun.
No.
It's really bleak.
Yeah.
So Scorsese would like this one.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. You know?
You see the comparisons and why Taxi Driver and King of Comedy were brought up a billion times. Yeah.
Right. And I said it on social media. I think that there's a lot of themes about social accountability in this movie, but at the same time, it's not glorifying violence, and it's not saying this character, turn this way, and it's okay that they turn that way. It's basically forcing you to watch a broken man become irredeemable.
And you know what though? I think people people who really pay attention to score,
right,
I think will get what you're saying because if you pay attention to the score is telling you everything of what you just said. The score is telling you, well, no. This is a menacing individual. Like certain things that are happening with him, you feel it in that score. I know you don't normally like you are a music guy, but
like Braveheart score.
But yes. You like the music, but you don't always pay attention to it.
Definitely.
Look out for it in this movie because it tells a story. This score tells a story.
And it also, I thought,
Hildur,
she's amazing. The composer is a cellist that worked with Johann Johansson.
So good.
Johan Johansson?
Yeah, and
He's
so
friends
she.
with Danish Christian Harloff?
No, he died. It's very sad.
Oh.
They're
but
still friends.
yeah, maybe that's true. But no, but the that's a good point about the score. And I actually think she grabbed a little bit of inspiration from the Nolan Batman films, from the
You can
Zimmer
feel
and
it.
James
Yeah,
Newton.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, especially the beginning of Dark Knight.
Uh-huh.
But I think what I took from this movie is that Gotham, the way it was portrayed, was the best Gotham I've seen. It's very realistic, showing that it's a broken society and that there's people that are, it's fractured. There's people that are poor, working class, mentally ill, that are not getting help from the rich. And
It's
there's
basically San Francisco.
And there's in the world,
Yeah.
and there's classism that's being shown here, and I think that makes people uncomfortable that it's being shown in a comic book movie,
Right?
But I thought it was really smart and subtle,
Yeah.
and I completely agree with what you're saying. That at first I was like, oh, why are they doing this? Why are they going with these choices? And I was like, oh crap, they actually handled this very well.
Flip it right in your head.
Yeah, and they make both the Batman lore of it and the Gotham characters, whether they're rich or poor, like the classicism aspect of the movie, they end up actually making you not take sides.
Yeah. What I'm bummed about,
and
though,
I like that
I
a
agree.
lot because it makes you more. It doesn't solve it doesn't show you the solution to these issues, but it shows you the problems that we're having as a
Absolutely.
society.
It does.
Is a Wayne mentioned? Like, do you see like a Wayne Enterprise or anything?
I
like
don't
that?
want to spoil it.
Yeah, makes
Right,
sense.
right.
My
But
bad on
yeah,
that one.
I don't want to
So
spoil it.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, what else? It all connects, and I just wish the one thing. What I'm bummed about is I would like to see Joaquin do the Joker again. And
Me too.
I'll just
I
kind of
know.
leave it at that.
But he's not going to do it.
I know, but I would like to see it happen again.
And his performance was not overhyped. Holy
No.
crap.
You know,
Did you guys see that video of him yelling at or not yelling? He didn't go full Christian Bale, but like talking to the DP.
Well, yeah, it did on it was on Kimmel.
Yeah, it was on Kimmel.
Yeah, so what Josh is referring to is they had Joaquin Phoenix on, and they had like behind the scenes. People think it was a work, or that it was just that it wasn't, that he knew it was coming out. That it was kind of that they knew they were going to show it.
Right.
Either way, that the clip is real. I thought about that. When you are so locked in, this is probably another reason why he doesn't want to play that character. And if you listen to everything that happened with Heath Ledger, how like locked in he was in that character, this is one of the most accurate portrayals I've seen of a character with mental health issues that felt so believable and not so like over the top. And the way that they, like when you see him, the reason why he's like, you see that one scene, when he's walking through the hallway and he's laughing and then he just stops. Yeah. The way they handle that is incredible, and such a it almost becomes a character itself. The laugh is almost like a character. And I mean, when you're that locked in as a performance, that carries over. I don't care who you are. It carries over into real world. And so when you're locked into that kind of performance, in the shooting, I don't blame him for that.
Oh no, I'm not taking it.
Well,
no, you
I don't know. I do.
Really?
I think actors. I think that is their job is to be able to hold both things at the same time.
That makes sense.
And I think that you
during
have
the
people,
shooing of the scene.
No.
This was during the shooting of the scene.
That's what I'm saying. But that I don't know that that's him. But that's also just like it's I support.
That's what I'm saying.
Because like Michelle Williams, like her speech being like, these are people who I said what I needed to do the part that in the Emmy speech she just said this.
Right.
And I feel like there's like a difference between like somebody who's just difficult to work with and somebody who's like, no, I need these false teeth, I need this, and like. Christian Bale losing his brain on that guy, but like also that guy shouldn't have been walking through with lights. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Also, the
But
difference
there's-
between
but-
Terminator Salvation and what this guy,
What
Joaquin
he's doing,
Phoenix was
right?
doing
You
for
see,
Joker.
he's so locked into this that when he basically apologizes to the guy too while he's there, but he's so locked in that it's like if you're basically interrupting or talking to the Joker at that point, and you've got to be prepared for that because as a director. That's what you want. Like if you go back and you watch the Man on the Moon doc with Jim Carrey.
With Jim Carrey, yeah.
Milo's at one point he's the director. He's saying he doesn't want Jim Carrey out of that.
No.
Even though Jim Carrey made everyone's life miserable. But he knew he got such a performance out of him that he wanted to talk to Andy. And it was like, shit, this is making everyone's life miserable, but I'm getting a hell of a performance out of it. This is going to be a performance of a lifetime, and you deal with it.
I mean,
it's
that was
weird.
And that was the thing about that documentary is when they asked him to come back, like to do a little more, and he's like, I'm never going to do that again. Like, I can't get to that place
Right.
again because it was too maddening. Like the whole fact that when the parents saw Jim Carrey and he like started crying when he saw his parents because he was
Andy, yeah.
Cobb.
I know. That shit's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
I mean, it's-
I
it
agree.
is.
I agree. Yeah, I agree on that in that regards. It was Joaquin was still
Yeah.
really good.
But what would you rank this movie out of 5 stars?
Oh, I have a couple of minor complaints. They don't ruin the movie for me. So probably like 4.
I'm 4.5.
Yeah. It's
very close.
I especially because not only was I really looking forward to this movie and I was hoping it was good, but there was a lot of hype on both extremes because Twitter.
Yeah, right.
But there was a lot of hype as to like, oh, it's a masterpiece, and I was like, oh, people are probably overdoing
overselling it.
Or there's also the other culture of like, oh, well, the director said something stupid, so then let's just hate on this movie. And I'm like, well, you're not taking into consideration that there's a ton of people working on this movie and that did a really good job. The
What did he
casting
say that
crew.
was stupid?
I don't know, something dumb about he was complaining about woke culture, basically.
That's why he didn't do The
And-
Hangover. That's why he got out of comedy.
Yeah, he said something about woke culture and try being funny in today's woke culture, basically. Which
He's not.
I mean, he's not wrong.
he's not.
well,
He's not.
but the way he said it was dumb. But it's
Right.
like for me, I'm like I don't want to ostracize people from society because they said something stupid one time,
Right.
and I'm also
That's what the culture does.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
That's right.
not everyone. Like
A lot of
I
people
think
do.
people should be held accountable for what. So if they
Yeah.
do say something stupid, but we shouldn't ostracize them.
Right.
Right. Unless they actually are being, assholes. So.
But anyway, look, the movie itself.
But it's great, and
I
I
like
think
this movie.
Oh, it was a hoax.
think-
So look, Joaquin Phoenix's profanity-laden Joker outtake was a hoax. Let's see. Let's bring that up. Let's bring that first one up, guys.
It's on Vox. So.
Yeah, so it says, after footage of Phoenix cussing out a cinematographer on set made the rounds, his publicist revealed that the whole thing was fake. Partway through Joaquin Phoenix's appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live Tuesday night, the host played a behind-the-scenes clip from Joker in which Phoenix cusses out the movie cinematographer, telling him, among other things, to shut the fuck up. It was a bizarre piece of footage, and Phoenix, who claimed he had no idea it was coming, apologized for it, telling the audience he was embarrassed that they had seen it. The outtake.
Is this another one of those documentary things?
I think so.
did?
He does that all the time. His publicist told him, "Nah, it was a joke outtake." The actor's surprise at having it sprung on him was also staged, and of course it was. 'Cause Kimmel wouldn't spring this on him.
No.
As Slate points out, everything that goes into an appearance on late night shows it is carefully planned. Exactly. There's no way Kimmel would just play some embarrassing clip out of nowhere without Phoenix knowing about it. Also, who would have earnestly say something? Yeah. Anyway, so I believe 100% that
was
this
a
is
hoax.
fake.
So,
Yeah.
Josh,
Why is
you
Kimmel going
just-
to risk this?
You just asked
Right.
if you would like this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you would like it. I think
Yeah.
you end up thinking it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But I think I wonder if you might think it's a little slow or, I'm
I
not.
don't
I'm
think
not
you
sure.
think I don't think you'll think it's slow. I think that
Because some people did think that. So.
sure, but I know the kind of television that he watches. I
Okay.
think you'll be locked in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll ever want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Because it's so bleak. You mean?
It's bleak.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that way halfway through it. But by the time I got to the end, I started thinking about it. I'm like, I definitely want to see it again.
What was the exodus of the film like with fans? You know what I mean? Like walking out, like were people pretty silent?
Well,
Were
the group
people
I was
talking?
with, it was just, it gets you talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets you talking. Like the first thing, everyone's...
I think people don't know what to think at first. I think
Yeah.
when they first come out, but as I also understand why certain groups of people would like it or not. Because for me, as a Batman comic book fan,
Right.
I think that this was a really good DC movie.
Well, I saw it,
you know,
yeah.
but I can see why like film Twitter or other people would be like, oh well, I've seen better movies about this themes or about these themes, but because it's a comic book movie, sometimes people want either more or they don't take it as seriously. It's
Right.
interesting.
I
you
was
know?
talking. I was with Robert Meyer Burnett, and I asked him
Yeah.
afterwards what he thought, and he was looking at it, and he's like, and I don't know what he's said since, but he's like, I don't know what the point was. And I said the point was it's a movie about a fucking villain and about the descent into
Yes.
madness.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I mean, that's what I
And
thought.
people
it
don't
was.
want to see it, especially
Right.
in the time we're living.
Right.
But I think it's necessary to see it, to see things like that.
Right.
Like just because we don't want to see it doesn't mean that the problem isn't there and that
Totally.
we
Yeah.
and that we're going to ignore it.
Yeah,
right?
Taxi Driver is very similar, except Yeah, this is more. It's more of a spoiler conversation, but when we can talk about the spoilers, we will. But anyway, so go and check out the Joker. Make the opinion for yourself. You should definitely see it, though.
Yeah,
I'd like to see what you think.
People have reached out to me on Instagram like, you need to stop talking about it being a dangerous movie. You need to let filmmakers make their films. I agree. I'm just saying, from what I've heard, and I need to get my own opinion because I need to watch the movie, is that it's very disturbing.
It's disturbing.
And there's a lot of people out there that are disturbed.
But
That's
there's
my
a
only
lot
point.
of disturbing movies out there.
I
And
agree.
TV.
It's just
agree.
because it's a comic book movie, and it's also the Joker has become a
Iconic.
controversial character in comic book fandom for some reason. Because I'm just like, okay, so it's okay to have Darth Vader pajamas.
Yeah.
I don't understand
Right,
that. You know?
Hells yeah.
It's good, right? I love it. It was at some point when he's doing it, I was just like, oh man, I'm waiting for him to do it.
Really, really
so
good.
Yeah, it's creepy.
it's so good.
Yeah.